Chef Warren with Dinner for Two. We do some great cooking today, right? Everybody likes eggs. Breakfast is the best time of the day, and sometimes we just need a little bit more imagination to put more into the dishes that we cook. So we're gonna do a Mediterranean style type omelet today. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm just gonna start preheating my pan here. We're gonna get it nice and hot. We're gonna saute some vegetables, cook up the filling basically. Then we're gonna get the omelet on the go. We'll put the filling inside the omelet and just wrap it up and have a beautiful omelet. This shouldn't take more than 6-7 minutes to make this entire thing. So we got it on the go. I'm preheating the pan. I'm gonna use a little bit of olive oil, about half a teaspoon of olive oil in the pan. Right? And get that nice and hot, not too hot, especially with olive oil because this is extra virgin olive oil. It does have that lower burning temperature. So make sure you don't get your olive oil too hot. So I have some Spanish onions. We're gonna throw those in. Pan's getting nice and hot, starting to saute nicely. We're gonna also include some red peppers into here. We're gonna put in some yellow peppers as well. And we're gonna put in a little bit of oregano, give it a nice zingy flavor. I really like it when the oregano hits that oil and it really starts to infuse. In here I have some sun-dried tomatoes. We're gonna put those in as well, some black olives, and of course a few capers, just to make it an extra yummy. We're gonna saute that up a little bit. Let's give it a quick toss here. And then once this started to sweat, we wanna sweat these vegetables out. I'm gonna add some of the tomato. I'm not going to put the tomato in just yet because the moisture from the tomato is going to come out and it'll stop the sweating of our onions here. So we're going to sweat them nicely, probably about another minute or so. Right? And looking good. I got our tomatoes ready here. And we don't need to cook this too much because it's going to be the filling. It is a nice morning omelet. So I got some cherry tomatoes. I've cut them into half. We're going to throw those right into the pan as well. You can hear that extra sizzling as the moisture coming out of the tomatoes. Right? Now, also what we're going to do is a little bit of cracked black pepper, a little bit of kosher salt. We got that on the go as well. And the filling's pretty much done, right? Last bit, I'm going to throw a little bit of green onions in here as well. And we're going to saute that up. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to turn the stove off. And while I've turned this off, it'll continue to cook a little bit, but we're going to prepare the eggs and get the eggs on the go, right? So the best thing for preparing eggs, when you're going to break an egg, you don't want to hit it on a corner because what will happen of the table, often enough we'll smack it somewhere thinking it's easier to break the shell, but often what happens is we break the shell in a few different places and the broken shells are easier to get into the egg. So when you put the egg into your dish, it's easier to have shell. Best thing is whack it on a flat surface and we just open the eggs, good to go, okay? We'll do this one as well. We're going to have a 2-egg omelet here today. So then what we're going to do, I'm going to use a little bit of heavy cream, about a tablespoon of heavy cream in there, that's it. And then we're going to whip up the eggs. Now you want to give it a nice whip so we can aerate them, right? So we're going to add a little bit of air into the eggs. So quick whip here, 2-egg omelet. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to get the pan on for our eggs. Now when you're cooking eggs, you always want to get the pan nice and hot, right? So I generally cook it just over a medium heat. You want to get it nice and hot, so once the pan's hot, it's really going to cook the eggs beautifully. You always have to use some sort of lubricant with eggs, whether it's going to be a bit of spray or a little bit of butter, or I personally prefer butter with my eggs. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of butter. We're just going to melt that butter. What you want to do to have perfect eggs is you really want a nice hot pan. So we're going to let the butter melt. When the butter melts and it starts to bubble a little bit, as soon as it starts almost looking like it's going to burn, we're going to add the eggs right into the pan here, okay? So let's just let that preheat a little bit, get it nice and hot, and then we're going to be good to go. So 30 seconds, get that hot. The vegetables been sitting in the pan, you want to get them a little cooler because you don't want to put them into the omelet hot, right? So they're cooling down nicely. The butter is almost, there we go, starting to brown a little bit. We don't want it too brown. I'm going to put the egg mixture into the pan, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to move it around a little bit, right? So this is a nice way to cook the omelet a little bit faster. A little bit of moving around. If you just let it sit there, the omelet may become very brown on the outside, and I like a bit of color with my omelets, I really do. Now what we're going to do is still a little bit runny on this one side. Let's just go like that a bit, okay? That's looking good. I'm going to add some feta cheese into here. So I'm going to put everything, now when you're doing an omelet, put everything on one side. So when you're taking it out, you can flip everything to the other side, right? So now our filling, I'm going to put this right on top. We're going to let that omelet cook for a little bit more. Like that. All right. I'm just going to flip this right over like that. Whoops, if we have a little mistake, mistakes happen, but that's the art of cooking. And when you have a mistake, as long as at the end of the day it's still nice and yummy, we're good to go. All right, so I'm gonna let that cook a little bit. I'm gonna flip it back over one at a time just to cook the rest of the egg that was on this side, and then we're ready to plate this up, right? So eggs cook nice and fast in here. I'm sure this is good to go. We're just gonna go like this, and we're gonna give it a little bit of a quick flip. Good to go here, and then let's get this on the plate, all right? I'm gonna give this another little flip here. Loosen the bottom here, whoops. Loosen this side here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it one quick flip right onto the plate, and that's a beautiful Mediterranean style omelet with Chef Warren. And that's dinner for two cooking, because life is delicious.